and like there's no way to get rid of it now. And now these laws can potentially be abused in the future.
But
And what I'm saying is there needs to be a mechanism for the people to go, no, we don't want that.
even in the US example, where you might not be able to repeal a law, you can amend the law, can change the context of the law.
Right. And there's no guarantee that anybody's ever going to go back to those laws. But understand they're still there, okay? They're not gone.
Yeah, which to me means like, in the future, there's going to be some stickler lawyer going through the ancient laws trying to find something they can pin you on,
Well, that's not in the future. That just recently happened. I mean,
I know.
They pulled up that stuff with Trump on the immigration stuff. I mean, and that's an example of what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't want something like that taking place in the future for your future generations, then you should be careful about what you allow to become a law today, because that is a good example. Okay, nobody back then thought that it would be used so that they could do freaking mass
deportations.
Well,
it's that's actually a lucky example. Like there could be much worse ways to abuse laws, but you're assuming that politicians are always going to have good faith, and you're assuming there's going to be no corruption, and you're assuming that no one's going to make a mistake. I mean, it comes down to like 1,500-page laws and stuff.
That was also anticipated into the Constitution.
This is the point of having a Senate and a Congress, or in the UK, or low chamber and high chamber in effect. So it can be, the laws can be, before they become acts, they can, in the bill form, they can be reviewed by one chamber,
there's a public consultation
reviewed by the next chamber, and yeah.
But here's the thing, Mark. This is what happens here, right? Is like they won't announce that a new law is coming. So when there's only like a few weeks where there's public consultation, and they'll take like people's statements on it and whatnot, but they won't tell you that it's happening. So it'll just get snuck in, especially over holidays and stuff like that, or Christmas especially. They'll still like crazy bills through, and then all of a sudden
there are very limited public consultations. I agree, but in Commonwealth countries, I'm not sure how this works as much in fact I do actually, but in you can always go on to, let's say, government website and review what legislations are coming up.
But here's the thing: no one does that. No one actually goes and reads all the laws.
Yes.
Not even lawyers.
It's because people don't mean that it's not happening.
Yeah. So like sometimes they'll.
I gotta ask you something though, Mr. Robot. Who do you think's responsible for that information getting out? Like in the United States, we believe in a sovereignty. Okay, we believe that it's the people's responsibility to keep government in check. Okay.
Yeah, not us. We believe in subjugation living under a nanny state.
Even in all Commonwealth countries, there is a thing called the Hanson review.
His face just froze.
He was about to say, there's such a thing as the king, and he is our daddy. All right?
No. Hanson is a transcription of every single word that is said in Parliament. Most people sitting on those green benches, every single word is noted in a transcription.
I'm not saying there's no transparency. There's transparency. You can go look at that stuff. You can go look at the laws.
That's not constitutional, though. I mean, transparency. Everybody keeps talking about this shit. Okay. I mean, come on, dude. What the hell?
In the US, this may not be.
My point is, they can write a law that's ambiguous enough for like some sneaky lawyer to go and abuse it later on, right? For example, these these internet censorship laws that has just come out. They've said, oh, we don't want teenagers to be able to have access to social media because it's bad for them. But in order to do that, now every adult has to give their ID to get on the internet. You know what I mean? So, like, you can see how a law that's stated to have a certain purpose can be abused for another purpose, namely tracking and control of everyone in the country.
This is where the courts come in. This is where judges and the courts come into it to interpret the law, the legislation. I mean, as an example, the UK Supreme Court's ruling on what are males and females that happened only a couple of weeks ago. That clarified the 2010 Equalities Act and
all right,
specified.
Tell me this, Mark. Tell me this. What species is a judge?
Okay, now hold up. I can actually talk a little bit about judges here in the United States.
No, but I just want to say a judge is a human being, just like you and me, who is fallible, all right?
Okay.
And open to corruption.
No,
okay,
I mean,
we've seen this all over the place where judges have been bought off by rich billionaires to make favorable decisions to their agendas.
It goes even deeper than that here in the United States. This is something that is really serious. Now, judges, when they take and put that robe on, okay, they become the law. All right. So no matter what their decision is, they are untouchable. They are immune from prosecution
they
or
basically
litigation.
have more power than the president, don't they, or what?
While they're holding that
in the US, the US specifically.
While they're holding that while they have that robe on, they're playing the part of the judge. Yes, they are the ultimate freaking power. They are like, they're stronger than the Power Rangers. Okay.
So why can you appeal the decisions?
It has to be approved. It has to be just like suing the government. It has to be approved by the freaking court systems if you're allowed to sue them. Now, if they see that you have an honest case,
I'm not saying sue
or
the judges.
or file
cases.
If they see any kind of case that is suitable for freaking prosecution or lawsuit, then you're allowed to sue them. But first, you have to ask for permission to sue them.
I'm not talking about suing judges. I'm just saying cases.
You're talking about criminal cases too, right?
Yeah, appealing a case. If I am convicted of something,
you can. If you want to appeal a decision, then you can just make an appeal. But I'm saying if you think that they have done anything that was corrupt or anything that was wrongdoing while they were wearing that robe behind the bench, okay, then you have to ask the court if you can frickin' sue them or if you can bring charges against them. Okay.
And here's the vulnerability, right? Is federal judges are appointed by the President of the United States Senate, right? And they have a 14-year term, which is multiple presidencies. So if you have a corrupt presidency, that becomes active in the next presidency. So they can still be malicious actors in the next term. And there's nothing you can really do about it.
Unlike in the UK, all public servants are subject to what we call the Nolan Doctrine, the Civil Service Code of Conduct, and all of them any public servant could be prosecuted under either misconduct in the public, conspiracy to commit misconduct in public office, or conspiracy to commit malfeasance in public office. And in theory, both of them can be custodial sentences.
Okay.
The current process for the president to fire federal judges is limited and strictly defined according to the Constitution. Federal judges, including the Supreme Court justices, are appointed for life and can only be removed through impeachment and conviction by Congress. Holy crap.
Now, see, that's kind of cool. That I actually like that. I think they should have lifetime terms.
Why is that?
I don't know.
If you have a corrupt judge, it's there for
when they
life,
are
dude.
80,
To be honest,
and
and when I first
you know,
started thinking about it, I did have my issues. But then the more I started checking into it, the more I started liking that idea. First of all, it's cool.
So if you have a corrupt judge, you want to have him for life.
It goes back to what I said before. You need to make good decisions.
If they're mentally impaired, let's say they become 80 and they suffer from dementia, do you want them to be your judge?
Well, they have a right to step down if they want to.
Roger does.
Yeah.
Well, they have a right to step down if they want to. Okay, now
they also have a right to remain if they want to.
Now, the thing that gets me is it does come back to what I was saying. It's like you have to make good decisions when you decide to do things like wanting laws and also voting in presidents and things like that. So, like, the reason why you have all these judges that freaking have lifetime terms and you don't freaking like them is because you decided that you wanted that president in office. Okay, who freaking...
That is indirect democracy, indirect power. The people don't have any direct control.
When you vote to
mind control is working on Roger Hanson.
No, let me explain to you how things work.
Before you continue, your grandfather votes for
he's getting blotted out.
Before you were alive, and that president elects a judge or puts in a judge, and that judge is still there when you are.
No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
That's what you suggested.
No,
that's what you suggested, though.
Judges don't appoint the next judge here in the United States.
No, I didn't say that. I said the president.
Okay, the president of the time appoints a judge. Okay, that judge stays in for a life term. Now you have to understand the process.
Why would you do that? That is crazy.
You have to understand.
A president can't do that. What? It's like a dictator.
This is how it works here in the United States. Okay, now.
Who the hell came up with that?
Listen, so I can explain this. It makes it to where you can at least understand it. Okay, you are the sovereignty, okay, in the United States. Now, when you turn around and you vote for a House representative or a senator or the president of the United States, you turn around and you give them the authority to make decisions on your behalf, okay?
Yep.
And when you do that, they go into freaking Congress and they go into the executive branches and they make those decisions for you. All right? Now, with these judges, their role is to interpret the law. Okay, so what this president has to do is come up with people who can sit on the Supreme Court and knows constitutional law. The best candidates who are capable of doing that, and that's what they do. They interpret the law. Now, it's gotten really popular with the media now where they think that the Supreme Court makes a decision, they interpret the law, they make a decision that this is unconstitutional, and bam, everybody needs to comply to it. That means that law needs to go away, and that's not the way it works. They interpret the law. Hold up, they interpret the law, and then it goes from the freaking judicial system or branch to the freaking to Congress, okay? And Congress is the one who creates laws. So the law is interpreted and then it's created through Congress, where it goes through the House of Representatives into the Senate. And after that, that is when the executive branch, the President of the United States, has to enforce the law through the